AI is the moment maybe in all the any common about that you would like to add.
Um, so I think one of the commonest misconception is that if you don't have pain, you don't need to go to a physiotherapist. So I think the misconception about the number of conditions that a physiotherapist can treat, and also in terms of how physiotherapy, like we were discussing earlier, is very preventive as well. Even when you do not currently have a problem, you still often need to visit a physiotherapist to look at things from the preventive aspect. The other misconception is that you cannot directly approach a physiotherapist. So I need to have a referral from another practitioner before I come to a physiotherapist, which is not true. Because a lot of the times, your physiotherapist can be your first contact when you have certain symptoms, especially to do with pain and discomfort. And then your physiotherapist, after an assessment, can refer you further to other practitioners. So I think that's also a misconception that often people don't directly come to a physiotherapist. They'll wait for someone to refer them to a therapist, which is not generally necessary. So I think, yeah, these are the two commonest misconceptions that I see.
AI is the moment maybe in are you or other with AI in the moment here, but AI can is more more
Yeah, so a lot of artificial intelligence is currently being employed in the field of physiotherapy. If we look at the ways that physiotherapists document, we need to be very precise in what we are documenting. So often, when I see the posture of a patient, it is my visual perception that I'm using. But if I document it accurately, then I know how I'm moving forward, what kind of change is there, which is why often we use a lot of tools. So the amount of range that a joint has, the amount of movement that a individual is showing during a functional task, all of these things we use certain tools where we are recording videos, where we are marking out the angles, where we are really storing the data. So that is one of the commonest ways in which we are using AI. But then also we are using AI to interpret data. So even when we look at someone's walking pattern, for example, what all can we understand from that walking pattern based on, okay, if this is the pattern, which muscles must be weak that should be checked for their strength. So now there are more accurate tools that can be used to analyze the video of someone walking and tell you exactly which deficits, which muscles should be worked further on. So I think even in the field of chronic rehabilitation, where we are looking at making tools that will assist patients in communication, that is also one thing that we try to use at more advanced clinics, so that there is an efficiency between the therapist and the patient communicating. And apart from that, we sometimes also use AI tools when we are trying to so like using AI for interpretation. So even when we do research work, like if I have worked with multiple patients of a certain condition, then to really analyze my data and to assist me with joining what I have currently learned with previously collected data from other individuals, that also is assisted. Then in the field of robotics, actually AI is being used a lot. So, for example, when we are training, say, a child having cerebral palsy to walk, generally having AI assisted tools would run the software for robotic systems that are attached to the limbs of the child, and they give a rhythmic movement. But then, as soon as the child starts putting voluntary effort, the amount of movement produced by the instrument is reduced naturally. So I think that of course, a very advanced way in which it is used in robotics, but having very, very good effects. So I feel like AI is just going to gain more and more strength over time, and it's going to replace, but constructively replace a lot of work that therapists do, because it will still require a therapist to monitor and really put in that data and understanding to the use of AI.
AI now in people AI community and in how do is the role of the in the with AI in
So I think looking at the way that AI is also moving and progressing, I think the role of physiotherapists will become very, very analytical. So we know that AI will help you with the knowledge that it already has, with the experience that it is gaining through the data that is put in. So I think as a physiotherapist, evolving in the way that I interact with these AI systems will really have to change, because you have to be more accurate in what you're putting in so that it can, with more efficiency, assist your work. So I think the dependence of physiotherapy on AI has to keep increasing, which is why physiotherapists have to evolve further in their understanding of the subject and the changing conditions in which the human body is. So certain things that AI systems require to work more accurately have to be input by the therapist. So as a therapist, my skills of observation of what exactly my patient is facing has to improve. So I have to be more analytical of the whole environment around my patient, all the social forces that are acting on this individual, all the physical conditions in the physical environment that are making it more difficult or easier for my patient to exercise or not exercise have to continuously be fed into the AI systems so that they are more up to date and giving more accurate information to patients. Because right now we are seeing that a lot of AI tools are like trying to give you a small quiz based on which they customize your exercise program. But to make that quiz also more comprehensive and more accurate, I think as therapists, we need to interact more with these AI platforms.
yeah, yeah, oh, there we made a big bit of my life.
So I think because of the experience I have had as of now, I have worked more with geriatric patients, and unfortunately, one of the common misconception that we have is that with age, naturally the body becomes slower, and you have to depend more on other individuals, and that's why it is seen as very common, and it's not something that many people reach out to a physiotherapist for, because they feel like, oh, if I have pain, this is age related, it's bound to happen, and I just have to bear with it. So I think one of the bigger success stories that I can share is of working with individuals who had, in a way, internalized the idea that because their body is aging, they are dependent. So they started like one of a patient of mine would take assistance of her son on one hand to walk and a stick in the other. And she would refrain from leaving the house by herself. Even within the home, she'd catch the walls and walk. And so she happened to come to me when she developed a back pain. But we realized that the bigger problem was not her back pain, which we were easily able to work on in a few days. But I realized that the problem was actually her balance. And so when I asked her, she said, oh, as I started becoming older, I would touch the walls and walk. And she wasn't all that old. She was 68. And so we saw that because she's chronic diabetic and things have deteriorated over time to a point that she said during the rainy season, I stopped going for walks. I would regularly go. And as soon as the rains came, because the roads were not good, I stopped going. And ever since I haven't gone. So I saw her 4 months after the rain stopped. And so in that time, she just stopped practicing and she assumed that because she's old, she doesn't have to go out anymore without assistance. But once we started training her balance, I started taking her for shorter walks. So we'd had a part of the program of her exercises in the clinic, and the other part we'd have outside where I had her walk on different surfaces. And over time, we realized that now, okay, initially we still had her use the stick and she'd walk by herself. But then later, she at a point also gave up the stick and said, I don't think I need it. And so now we are at a point where just a few days back, I discontinued her sessions because now she has learned the exercises. We have made a small setup in her house to continue exercising. And she has an understanding that how age is not going to be the only factor that makes her dependent on others. So has a very strong willpower, has been very diligent. And if I'm not mistaken, this is 2 months that I have been seeing her initially more regularly and after that with a few breaks. And she has persistently been part of the exercise program that has been taught to her. Her family has really assisted her and encouraged her. And now, like, I see her walking by herself, even on the footpaths alongside her society. And it has made a big change because suddenly now she doesn't have to ask someone to bring her groceries. She can just walk down and get it herself. So I feel seeing my patient be as functional as they can and be independent is really heartwarming for me. So I feel like that is a big success.
Before we wrap up, I would like to mention that I am the have the book my brother on in on who the in Howard your experience from me with me reading I have.
So I think like I am really fascinated by the way that this has been created because it is so efficient. And I like having worked with a lot of patients that have had difficulties with communicating. I can only imagine how difficult it must have been to really put together a tool that is so accurate. And I feel like it is really a privilege to come in contact with you and to see how you are very skillfully using this tool because it makes it very clear that as we move ahead, we have to look more at our capacities than things that are difficult for us. And clearly, you have harnessed a capacity with the assistance of your brothers to use AI as it is growing to really assist us. And yeah, it has been really a privilege to be with you, and it is seamless. This experience of communication has been really seamless. Excellent.
Do you have any final word of wisdom for our viewers?
I think I just yeah like to end by saying that it is not often that physiotherapists with experience like me, we are much lesser experienced than others in the field, are called upon to share our experience. And I think that is it's very helpful to have an audience hear our experiences and to know that physiotherapy as a subject is it's beautiful. Like every day I practice, I fall more in love with the subject. And there is so much more that we can all do together. So the more that we have our patients support also, and the more that we as physiotherapists keep working hard, we really can make a big difference in the lives of so many individuals. And yeah, I feel privileged being part of the field. And I hope that those who are still exploring what they can study ahead and work as will be motivated to look at this field. And those who have discomforts and pains or from a preventive aspect, would like to make sure that their health is always good, should really make visits to therapists, to physiotherapists, and see how they can be assisted.
Thank you so much for the even and it was a pleasure having you on Anand.
So the pleasure was absolutely mine. It has been an excellent conversation, and I think the questions you put together were beautiful. It really helped me go through a lot of experiences, and I'm sure your viewers will also enjoy listening to this.
All our viewers, thank you for tuning us in. Until next time, it is a